Hello, my beautiful people. It is I, it is her, it is she, it is Coach. And I am coming to you today with another video. And this video today is going to be called Making Over Your Mind. Because when we're in the weight loss journey, when we are in the midst of getting our lives together and getting our health together, sometimes we forget that this is a mental journey. And sometimes you get discouraged and you want to give up and you're not sure if you can go on. And that's because your mind needs to be made over. And your mind is actually guiding this journey. Because if you take a look at it, if you look at all of the food choices or every single diet or every single thing that you tried to do before, 9 times out of 10, you failed. And the only reason you failed was because you could not sustain the mental capacity of staying in it and moving forward to do what was necessary for your health and for your growth. So today we're going to talk about making over your mind and what that entails and what that looks like for when I actually started my journey. And I can tell you, I started my journey in 2014 and I had no idea what I was doing. I literally was lost and I literally failed forward like 20 million times. And each year I failed forward, but each year I learned something different about my body and I learned something different about my mind. But through it all, I just kept wanting to quit because I couldn't understand the relationship between what I was eating, what I was giving my body, and then the mental capacity that was actually supposed to help me walk through the journey. I didn't understand that they were all connected. And so what we have to understand is that when we are in the midst of a weight loss era, or when we're in the midst of a weight loss journey, or when we're in the midst of just wanting to be healthier for ourselves, we need to take the time to take a step back to reevaluate why we're here in the first place. And what is it that we're going to gain out of coming into this journey in the first place at all? Because some people, start a journey because, they just want to, fit into a particular dress, or they want to fit into a particular pants, or they want to fit into a particular bathing suit, but not really understanding that it's just not fitting into that moment. It's actually going beyond that moment. And what I had to understand was that even though I was in the moment, and even though I was in the journey, it needed to go further than what I was doing. I needed to see beyond the now, and I needed to look further into my future to see where this journey could take me as a whole. And when I started to do that, that's when I started to see a difference in my body. I started to see a difference in the way I thought. I started to see a difference in the way that I reacted to certain things. And I started to see a difference in the way that I had a relationship with the foods that I was eating. It was because I mentally took note of what my body needed. I mentally took note of what it was that I craved. And I mentally took note on how it affected me moving forward. Every time we are in the midst of a situation, or we're in the midst of something happening, we're in it, and sometimes we can't look past that moment. So if you are going through something in life that's making you uneasy, or making you upset, or making you see that this is not where you want to be, but you're not understanding how to get out of it, you have to take a step back and you have to reevaluate where you are. A lot of times we don't want to reevaluate because it makes us face our truth. And a lot of times we don't want to reevaluate because it's a hard pill to swallow when it comes to who you are as an individual and who you are as a person. So making over your mind has a lot to do with who you truly are and where you are in life. A lot of people, as well as myself, I was very complacent where I was. I was okay with being stuck. I was okay with the fact that I didn't need to grow any further because this is where I was comfortable, and comfortable felt good to me. Comfortable made me just snuggle into it and didn't want to move out of it. But as time went on and things started to shift, I had to understand that life was going to be different and life was going to be amazing, but also it was going to be difficult journeys and difficult streams that I had to go through in order to find my true self. And that's what comes with making over your mind. A lot of times we sit back and we want so much more for ourselves, but we are unsure of how to get there. We are unsure of how to do that. And we just don't know how to start. And that was me. In 2014, I started my weight loss journey. I was unsure of everything I knew about weight loss. I didn't do any research. I didn't do any knowledge-based anything. I just basically said in my mind, I want to lose some weight. That was it. That was the trigger for me. I just want to lose weight. And as time went on, I would yo-yo diet. It was like, if I saw a cookie, but I knew I was on a health journey, I would be like, nobody's looking, I'm going to have this cookie. But not realizing, Yolanda, why you're not losing weight? Or how about you lost the 5 pounds and now you gained back 7 pounds? Why? Because you are mentally in a battle with yourself, but you're not facing the reality that this is your truth. Every time you do something to your body or for your body, it becomes your truth. Either you're going to take the first step or the second step or the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th steps to make things work in your favor, or you're going to continue to be complacent, snuggled in that space that we don't want to come out of. From 2014 all the way up to 2021, that is a lot of years in between of me yo-yo dieting with myself. And that is because the mind has to be made over. Yes, the mind is the most powerful muscle that you have in your body, on your head, as we are speaking today, because your mind gives you the courage that you need to go forward. Your mind gives you what you need to accomplish the things that life throws at you. Your mind is either going to set you up for success, set you up for complacency, or set you up for failure. And then you're spinning your wheels doing the same things over and over and over again. And that is something that I was tired of doing. I was tired of doing the yo-yo dieting, which means in front of the camera, I am on point. I am telling you what needs to be done. I am telling you what you should be doing. But then behind the camera, I'm eating unhealthy. I'm not sticking to my own plan. Or I stick to my plan and guess what happens? I get tired of that. Now I want something else. And that is because you are in a mental struggle with your mind. And when you start to grasp this thing, when you start to bring this thing into fusion, when you start to actually literally sit down and figure out what is going on with you mentally, then your body will succumb to what it is that you needed to do. It took me to 2020, and it was the latter part of 2020. In November of 2020 is when I realized something got to change, because ain't nothing happening. I'm buying bigger clothes. I was all the way up in a 3X. I was buying bigger clothes. That didn't click. I was literally going through the emotions of emotional eating. If I was stressed out or I didn't know how to handle life or something was happening or something was triggering me, I would just eat. Or I would say, I'm going to buy all these vegetables and I'm going to eat them. But then my vegetables would start to wither and go to waste in my refrigerator because mentally I wasn't ready. Mentally I wasn't facing my truth. Mentally I was not doing what needed to be done to help me to be a success in my own right, to help my body flourish, to help my body become what it needed to become. And that was just to be healthier. Healthy looks different on everybody. Everybody's not going to be a size 6. Everybody's not going to be a size 2. Everybody's not going to be a size 10. But however, whatever your healthy looks like, you have to start and you have to grasp it. You have to begin and you have to start doing things that are in harmony with your health, that are in harmony with what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and that is in harmony with what it is that you want out of life. Making over your mind is facing your truth. And when you start to face your truth, that's when you start to make over your mind. It's an ugly, hard pill to swallow. No one wants to sit back and criticize themselves on what it is that they're doing wrong without facing the hard facts that this is your life, that you're doing this. I did not want to sit back and realize that I wasn't losing weight because I was eating the things that should not have been eaten. I had a bad relationship with the foods that I loved, and I didn't understand why that kept happening. I couldn't understand, well, why is it that I have to eat healthy in order just to lose a pound? Or why does it have to be this game of calorie deficiency so I can lose a pound? Why does it have to be that way? And that's not how it has to be. You have to look at the way that you want to become in order for you to become who you want to be. And that is my truth. And that's what I had to go off of. That's what I had to strive for. And that's what I had to face. The ugly reality of the truth. And what the truth becomes is who you are. If you are unhealthy, face that truth. What is it that's going to make you change? If you're taking medication and you hate taking meds, what is it that's going to help you change? I'm going to tell you this. There was a time in December of 2020. This was my breaking point. This is when I had to really do something, because if the medical advisors couldn't find out what was wrong, then I was having a problem, but I knew something was wrong. In 2020, in November, I actually came upon me just starting to, try to have a little bit clarity. Because remember, I said in November of 2020, I started to just, do my little weight loss thing. I started to say, I want to be better. I want to do better. I need to do something. But I didn't understand that it was really a mental thing. So what I did was, when I went to start my journey in November, all over again in 2020. Now remember, I started my journey in 2014. And it was a flop. I was failing forward. I learned a lot of things, but I wasn't putting a lot of things in place. I was a great coach to many, but wasn't coaching myself as I needed to be. So I would be failing forward every single time. It was in December of 2020 when I was doing this workout, and I was actually doing frog crunches. And if anybody know what frog crunches are, it's when you take your legs, you put them at the top, and then you take your head and you bring your head forward, but you're bringing your legs towards you. And so I was doing the frog crunches, and I did about 20 of those, 5 sets, 3, and it was 20 altogether. And by the time I finished doing them, I was like, okay, yeah, I feel great. This is going to work. Oh my goodness, I feel great. I'm actually doing these crunches and I feel really great. But I hated being on the floor. I just don't like floor workouts. That's just something that's in my mind, and I know I need to work on that. But as time goes on, I'm going to progress to actually doing the workouts that I need to do, to actually succumb to me loving to work out on the floor. Any other workout I'll do. But for this particular reason, I was doing the frog crunches. Everything was great. And then the next day, about, I want to say 2 days later, now not really thinking that this would happen because I did frog crunches, I got this excruciating pain. The pain was, it was like a hit. It was like it hit me, but I wasn't sure of why it happened. And so I was just trying to think of everything under the sun. Like, what did I do to happen with this pain? And the pain happened in the midst of my stomach area. It was at the top part of my belly, and I couldn't understand why it was happening. So I told my husband, like, hey, there's a problem here, and I have this situation going on, and I don't know what it is. And so, he just basically was like, just calm down, let's breathe. Let's reevaluate. What did you do differently? And I couldn't think of it, not realizing that I'm saying that I believe that the frog crunches did this to my body. But never even mentioning doing crunches to anyone, not even my doctor, because it didn't dawn on me that could probably be the problem. So time went on, weekend goes through. And then on a Saturday, I love to go out, and I love to go out and shop, and I love to go out and go to, favorite stores and get things that I need. And I also love to go to the market to make sure that I'm getting my nutrients that I need for my household. And so this Saturday we went out, and this was in December. We went out, and my husband was like, well, what are we going to eat? And normally, because I'm thinking in my mind, oh, I got this, we're going to eat Panda Express. But let me say this before I get to that. I was eating Panda Express literally like every other day. It was a part of who I was. If someone asked me what you want to eat, just give me Panda Express. Orange chicken, mixed greens, and the chow mein. That was my meal. That's what I loved. That's what I wanted all the time. Now, not understanding that relationship that I had with that food was definitely unhealthy. But in my mind, I was thinking that was a great meal because oh, I only had chicken. It was protein. And I only had the greens. It's not that bad. That's greens. And then I only had chow mein. It's just a little bit of noodles. It's not that bad. But that becomes a habit when you're eating it all the time, and it will become bad. Your body will give you a sign that something has to change. So, fast forward back to, I go to work, and my stomach, I eat for breakfast. I said, you know what, when that happened, I said, okay, I gotta stop this. I'm going to actually take the stuff that I have in my fridge, and I'm going to actually take it with me to work, and I'm going to actually eat that, and that's what I'm going to do. So I took me some strawberries, and I had me some peppermint tea, and then I had an orange, and I had an apple, I had a yogurt, and I also had with me a salad. I made a kale salad, raw kale salad that had peppers, mushrooms, onions, and I had some deli slices on top, and that was my lunch that I was going to have for that day. So then, fast forward to me at work, I eat the strawberries and I drink the tea. Everything seemed fine with my stomach. Then, at lunchtime, I ate my lunch. Now, my stomach started to say, this isn't right. Something's not right. And I couldn't understand what it meant that something wasn't right, especially if I'm eating this clean meal and I thought that this was the best meal for me to eat, right? So I start to get this pain back. The pain comes back. It's at the top of my stomach. So now I'm like hunched over and I'm like, okay, I'm leaving for the day. I have to go. Tells my husband, I need to go to the emergency room. Go to the emergency room. I'm at the emergency room for 16 hours. They admit me. They do tests. They do ultrasounds. They do blood work. They do EKGs. They take my urine. They take all these samples from me. And I am admitted now 16 hours in the hospital trying to figure out what the freaking freck is wrong with my stomach. Never had this problem before. What's going on now? Long story short, the doctor comes in. The attending doctor comes in 16 hours later, and she tells me, it is so mind-boggling when you have a patient and your patient comes in and you can't tell your patient what's wrong with them. And so I looked at her, and when she said that, she looked at me with a straight face, and I looked at her, and I say, are you telling me that you don't know what's wrong with my stomach? She said, well, normally when someone's stomach is hurting at the top and it is a pain, it's normally their gallbladder. The gallbladder needs to be, you have to have type surgery. Something's going on with the gallbladder because that's what's at the top of your stomach, which is your gallbladder. And I said, okay. She said, but your gallbladder is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything looks great. She said, your ultrasound shows nothing abnormal. The blood work is perfectly fine. Your blood pressure is perfect. Your urine is great. She even told me that my EKG heart rate was perfect, you know? And so I'm looking at her and I say, so I'm here, but you don't know what's wrong with me? And she said, we can't find anything. So we're going to have you take a gastro. We're going to have the gastro doctor go up in there and see what he can find. Maybe something's going on that we just can't see externally, and he needs to see internally. And so I say, okay, that sounds like that's going to hurt, or that sounds really uncomfortable. I've never had to do that before. And so she said, I'm going to give you these pills, but follow up with your doctor and make sure that your doctor checks on you and see if she can find anything. So my husband, now might I add, we're in pre-COVID, so, you know, we're COVID situations going on. My husband couldn't stay in the hospital with me. They put him out. He had to actually stay outside, but he would not leave. He actually slept in the garage for 16 hours. He was back and forth in the lobby of the hospital. He would not leave because he wanted to know what was wrong with his wife. And he wasn't going to leave to come home and tell the kids, hey, well, your mom is in the hospital, but I'm here. So we're just going to wait to see what happens. Because that's the love that we have for one another. If one is down, we're both going to go down. And we need to find out what's wrong with the other person so that way we can help this person be better. Help this person get through whatever they're going through. And so when they told me that, I was so discouraged. I was just lost. I was sad, and I was just unsure of what was wrong because I couldn't understand how did I go from being this perfectly bouncy, happy individual to having this excruciating pain at the top of my stomach, and no one understood what was going on. Not even the doctors who are specializing in these areas of taking care of the human body. So I came home and I just let my mind just keep going through and keep going through and keep going through to find out what could it be. I was diagnosing myself with all types of things and couldn't understand what it was. Well, maybe I have a tapeworm, or maybe I have cancer, or maybe I have this, or maybe I have that. And my mind's just going, right? And I said, stop. The mind was taking over the matter. The mind was making me think I was losing my mind because the doctors couldn't find what was wrong with me. So I did a follow-up with my doctor, and she couldn't see anything that was going on. And she said, well, how do you feel? I said, well, for the last 3 weeks, I've cut out eating everything that I could possibly think of that's processed. I started to make my own foods, and I'm eating as close to the earth as possible. And I feel great. My stomach doesn't even bother me anymore. And she said, okay, well, we're going to hold off on the gastro. You probably won't even need it. Let's just see what happens. She said, the only thing that I can see that could be a problem is that you're just overweight. You need to probably lose some weight. She said, but your numbers look great. Your blood work is great. Everything looks great. She said, your blood pressure looks phenomenal. It looks great. She said, you look happy. I said, well, I am happy. But I just don't understand what was wrong with my stomach. So I had this conversation with my husband because the emergency room had gave me these pills. They gave me these pills to take, and they told me to take the pills for 10 days, and I was supposed to take 2 pills per day for 10 days. But remember, I said they didn't know what was wrong with me, but they gave me pills to take. But they don't know what's wrong with me. But the pills was going to help my stomach, but they don't know what's wrong with me. So my husband says to me, are you going to take those pills? I said, I'm going to take them. They told me to take them. But he said, you know, the Bible says your body can heal itself if you give it the right nutrients. He said, you know this. You're a coach. You know this. But at the time, my mind was all over the place. I forgot my own words. I forgot that that's what Jehovah tells me in the Bible. That's what he says for me to do, to heal myself. Eat my green vegetation and you will be healed. Eat my abundance of grains and whole foods and legumes and beans and you will be healed. This is what he tells us. But we forget these things because we're so used to modern day medicine. So I took 2 pills. And then I said, you're right. I'm not going to do it anymore. I had a whole conversation with God that night. I cried. I begged. I pleaded. I asked for his mercy. I asked for his kindness. I asked for his wisdom. I asked for his guidance. I asked for everything that I could possibly ask for him to help me through this. And I also asked him for peace because my mind was racing and my body was unsure of what was going to happen. And the only thing my fear was, I can't die. I can't die. I can't die. I have to stay alive. I have to live. I have to breathe. I have to do what's necessary to stay alive. And so after I had that deep conversation with my Jehovah and my God, and I had the conversation with my husband, I started to make my mind over. My mind was made over because I was determined to be better. My mind was made over because my God gave me the strength to do it. My mind was made over because I don't want to be feeling like I felt before. I don't want to be unsure what's wrong with me. And the doctors had no idea what was wrong. My mind was made over because I wanted better for myself. I did that. I wanted better. And today I'm down 42 pounds from wanting better, from doing better, from eating whole foods, from taking in God's green veggies and seeds, and just loving on me for being who I'm supposed to be, for actually taking care of my body and becoming one with the foods I eat, to actually think about the foods I eat, to actually understand where it comes from. And if it's not beneficial, I don't put it inside of me. And ever since then, my body has been okay. My body had loved the vegetables. It loves the fruits. It loves the whole grains. It loves the beans. It loves the corns. It loves everything there is to love about eating straight from the earth. Am I a vegan? No, I'm not a vegan. Am I a vegetarian? No, I'm not a vegetarian. I am a whole foods individual, which means majority of my foods, 90% of my foods are whole foods. The other percentage of my food, the other 10%, comes from me eating shrimps. It comes from me eating salmon. It comes from me eating eggs. It comes from me eating tuna. And those are the only foods that I put in my body. Whole foods. And then those foods. I don't eat processed foods anymore. I try my best not to eat any snacks that are unhealthy. If I look at a snack, I have to look at the ingredients in the snack. I have to go by the ingredients in the snack to see if that snack is worthy of being in my body. If it has trans fats, I don't want it. If it has oils that are unhealthy, I don't want it. I had to make over my mind, and you have to make over your mind. The doctors are here to do what they can do. They are stressed out and they are stretched to capacity because COVID is going on. But we as individuals have to take back our power, and we have to do what is necessary to help our bodies heal. And in order to do that, you have to start with making over your mind, and you have to start with bringing back to you who you are, which means look at your foods that you are eating. Look how many times you eat out. Look at the consumptions of fats that you're putting into your body, the unhealthy fats. Try more whole fats, like your avocados or your almond butters. Look at those fats as healthier fats. Look at the things that you can do now to help your body. And let me tell you this. It's not going to be an easy, trying time. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to be upset. And your body is going to crave things that you thought were not even possible. But you have to stay the course. And in order for you to be better, in order for your body to succumb to being better, you have to make over your mind. So making over your mind starts with you. If you want to be better, if you're craving to be better, you need to be better, then you have to take the actions that are necessary for you to live a fulfilling, healthier life. This is Coach Yolanda, and I want you all to have an amazing day. I want you to do things that are necessary for your health, and I want you to do things that are necessary for your mind. Making over your mind entails you taking care of you, which entails self-care. Self-care is a needed aspect of your life. It's not a want, it is a need. And the more you take care of you, the more you take care of your mind, the more your body will take care of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video. And if you need to get in contact with me, you can always email me at coachyolanda@gmail.com. That's my email. And you can also come and register with me at rockanddropfitness.com, where we together take back your health, your life, and help you move forward in this thing called life. Peace.